Let's move on to Murray State. I'm excited to hear what Aaron has to say about Murray State. For those watching that are looking for kind of just that, underdog team to get behind for the week. I know there's going to be a lot of locals here in Omaha that are going to take up the Murray State cause. But tell us a little bit about the Racers, because Kendall brought up a good point in that, yes, this is a cool story that Murray State's here, but take them lightly at your own peril. This is not an easy task for anybody.
For sure. And they showed that. I mean, really, most of the season, they had kind of established themselves as kind of one of the top teams in the Valley. And our guy, Patrick Ebert, was on this early. I think he wrote about them midway through the season, had a great in-depth profile on them. And so heading into the regional, we thought they were a dangerous 4 seed. But I want to just reiterate that this is not quite the same as the previous 3-4 seeds that got here, because like Fresno State in 2008, they were a preseason top 25 team. Stony Brook was a team that the previous summer had tons of guys all over the Cape. A lot of us were on that team, and they had more guys drafted than LSU when they went to that super regional and beat them. They were loaded. And then, of course, you had Oral Roberts. This is a program that's been in a ton of regionals, has had won a regional. This program, Murray State, only been to 3 regionals in its history. The last one was 2003. They hadn't won a game in the postseason since 1978. And last year was supposed to be the year that they made this run. Right? They had all those seniors. They lost 22 seniors off last year's team. And they were terrible in the fall. All those guys will tell you, the players that were back were like, man, we were a disgrace.
They were very honest about that.
Yeah, we got our butts kicked.
They were so bad they lost their inner squad.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough scene, and they weren't really expecting this to be a great team. They had all these newcomers, 27 newcomers, something like that they had to try to blend in there with a new coaching staff. And so nobody really saw this coming. They were picked to finish 4th or 5th in the Valley in the preseason. And there was no reason to think that this team was going to be an Omaha team. Yeah. So it is a very surprising story. If you look back a year ago, to the fact that they're here, it's wild. That said, they looked the part on the way here.
Certainly.
I mean, going to Oxford, scoring a bunch of runs, and just out offensing Ole Miss in their own park was impressive. But then to go to Duke, and some different style of games. You did have one 19-9 game in there when the wind was blowing out. Yeah. And the next day, it's a tight, tense, low-scoring game. It's a night game, and they adjusted to that, even without their top 2 starters on the mound. And they were able to find a way to win that game. It was 5-4 or something.
5-4,
right?
yeah.
I mean, so they showed you that they can beat you different ways. But that to me was very loud.
And they don't fold. That's the thing. I mean, they went to Oxford in front of 11, 12,000 people. Duke is a different deal, obviously not as many people, but that's a road environment frankly, it's a lot more people than are at Murray State games during the regular season still. And they didn't get sped up. They didn't look out of place. There was no part of them that didn't look like they were.
You really thought in that Ole Miss game, that the regional championship, when Ole Miss made it 12-11, when they were up 12-3, you were like, man, Ole Miss is going to win this in sort of dramatic fashion. Like the last couple innings were actually pretty calm. Yeah,
they just kind of, exactly, dusted themselves off and got back up there.
They calibrated.
The perfect example of that is when they thought they had the thing won, against Duke.
Right.
They're dogpiling. You see, I took a photo of, you can see Carson Garner in the background, and he's face down in the turf, just overcome by emotion. And then the call gets overturned. You got to go back out there and get another out. No problem. I mean, they just get out there and do it. It was pretty impressive. I'll move on to my player to watch here for Murray State. And that's Dusty Mercer. This guy's been red hot. He's one of the returning guys for them. He didn't start his career there, but he's been there for a few years at Murray State. Started his career at Virginia Tech.
Correct.
But he's become a key guy for several years, a guy that they can count on. But he's red hot right now. 16 for 32. He's hitting 500 in the NCAA tournament. He had 7 doubles in the regional, which, again, doubles win here. We've always talked about that. For sure. We've always talked 100%. About that, and that's a key theme here. This team hits a lot of them. They, in fact, lead the field of the Omaha field in doubles per game. I think it's like top 5 in the country.
Interesting.
Pitcher to watch here is Graham Kellum. Joe, this guy has 4 saves and a win in the NCAA tournament. He's been the guy. If you think back to when the calendar switched over to April,
not that long ago,
he had a 12+ ERA.
Yeah.
And it was like still 6+ we had into the NCAA tournament. And then he just found it. Yeah. And they've been riding him. And you got to have that guy that you can trust at the back end. Like, it gives you so much peace of mind. He's got probably the best stuff on the team. He's probably the best pitching prospect on the team, certainly. It's, 92, 94 with a big, slow yacker of a curveball. But he's also got a little kind of slider thing, occasionally change up, but I mean it's fastball, curveball, and guts. It's the composure. So impressive to me last weekend. So key guy to watch for them. For Murray State to win this thing, I think first of all it's execute their style, which is there are a lot of tough outs and it's a lot of doubles. Like I think back to the 2016 Arizona team that was here that played for national title, and Jay Johnson always described their offensive philosophy as it's a ball or it's a double.
Yeah.
And like that's what this team feels like to me. It's either a take or like they're banging that thing into the gap or off the wall. And it's just they do such a great job of punishing mistakes. That's one thing that they talk a lot about is hey, we can spoil a pitcher strike, we can take a pitcher strike, whatever. But when that guy misses over the middle, we're on it. Yeah. And they did that over and over again against Duke. Up and down their lineup, they have a lot of guys. I think they have 5 regulars that have at least as many walks as strikeouts, and a ton of doubles all over the place. So if they play their style, I think that gives them a chance to do a lot of damage here. And then it's just a matter of getting enough on the mound, and that means Nick Shetty and Isaac Silver, their 1-2 punch. Those guys have to perform, but it starts with just executing their own identity, their own offense.
Yeah, the key, I hate to phrase it this way, but the key for them, I think, is early in this thing. If they're going to win some games, they're going to have to win without Kellum in a game. I mean, you might be able to pitch him every day, but it does feel like if you can get a lead to the point where you don't feel you'd have to go to him, I think that's huge for them. Whether or not they can do it or they're willing to, I think, is another question. But given that he's their best bullet to fire late in games, you'd like to maybe hold off on him.
But it's so spread out here. You're playing every other day.
It's fair.
Especially if you can stay in the winner's bracket. I mean, I think you could absolutely see him. If they were to win it all, he could pitch, in all 5 games if they go 5-0 through this thing.
He could pull a Matt Troop.
Yep.
That's right. Let's move on to LSU. That's going to be Kendall. Tell us a little bit about the Tigers.